What would make Dumbo less emotional? To make the 1941 movie Dumbo less emotional, the story would need to change several key plot points, particularly the cruel and distressing treatment of Dumbo and his mother, Mrs. Jumbo. The core of the film's heartache comes from their separation, Dumbo's humiliation, and the ostracism they both face. Eliminate Mrs. Jumbo's separation and unjust imprisonment. This is the single most important change to reduce the film's emotional weight. Prevent her confinement. Instead of reacting to a child teasing Dumbo by spanking him and then being labeled a mad elephant, Mrs. Jumbo's response would be handled differently. Give her justice. The film would need to show the circus staff handling the bullying children and punishing the real culprits, allowing Mrs. Jumbo and Dumbo to remain together. Remove the baby mind scene. The heartbreaking scene where Dumbo visits his mother while she is shackled in a circus wagon would not exist. Without Mrs. Jumbo's imprisonment, the emotional baby mind sequence, considered one of the saddest in Disney's history, would be unnecessary. Remove Dumbo's humiliation and torment. The film's emotional cruelty also stems from Dumbo's public ridicule and exploitation. Prevent his bullying. The other elephants, specifically the matriarch, would not mock Dumbo for his large ears and nickname him Dumbo. Change the circus act. He would not be forced into a humiliating and dangerous clown act where he has to jump from a great height into a pie, which is designed to mock him. Shift the narrative focus. The story would not frame his unique ears as a deformity to be ridiculed before they become a feature that makes him special. Eliminate sadder secondary plot points. Other, smaller moments of sadness could also be removed to lighten the mood. Alter the pink elephants on parade sequence. The surreal and terrified hallucination sequence, caused by Dumbo and Timothy drinking alcohol, is often frightening for young children and can be unsettling for adults. It could be replaced with a different, less disturbing scene. Downplay the stakes. Timothy Q. Mouse's role could be less about comforting and protecting a heartbroken, motherless child and more about encouraging an already confident friend. Essentially, a less emotional version of Dumbo would be a much simpler, more straightforward story. It would focus solely on Dumbo's journey to realize his ability to fly, rather than portraying profound pain and hardship he endures to get there. To make the 2019 movie Dumbo less emotional, you would need to remove or significantly alter the central narrative of separation and loss. The plot points that produce the most sadness are those related to Dumbo being separated from his mother and the human characters dealing with grief. Here are specific changes that would make the film less emotional. Keep Mrs. Jumbo present and safe. The most upsetting part of the film is Mrs. Jumbo's trauma, from her defensive rampage to her ultimate imprisonment and sale. Remove the inciting incident. Eliminate the scene where Mrs. Jumbo defends Dumbo from cruel circus goers and rampages through the tent. Without this event, she would not be deemed a mad elephant. Keep the family together. Instead of being sold away, Mrs. Jumbo could simply remain with the circus and Dumbo. The main conflict would then revolve around Dumbo's struggle to fly, not the fight to reunite his family. Downplay the human character's backstory. The plot of the 2019 film expands on the human characters, tying their emotional arcs to Dumbo's. The Farrier children and their father are grieving the loss of their wife and mother, who died of influenza. Create a happier family. The Farrier family could be portrayed as fully intact and joyful from the start. This will remove the parallel between Dumbo's loss of his mother and the children's loss of theirs, a major emotional hook of the film. Focus solely on Dumbo. You could reduce the human element and focus only on Dumbo's journey, similar to the original 1941 animated version. The human character's presence and backstory were one of the major differences between the two films. Alter Dumbo's clown performance. The film shows Dumbo performing in a degrading clown act, dressed as a firefighter trying to extinguish a fake fire. The stunt is humiliating and dangerous for him. Reimagine the act. The scene could be changed to a simpler, less cruel performance. Dumbo could perform a basic acrobatic act that he enjoys, or the scene could be cut entirely to avoid showing the abuse he endures for entertainment. Change the tone of Dreamland. The Dreamland amusement park is portrayed as a nightmarish, exploitative, and ultimately corrupt world. Make the villain less menacing. V.A. Vanderveer's cruelty and the park's dark undertones could be softened. Instead of a villain who wants to kill Mrs. Jumbo, Vanderveer could be simply an overly enthusiastic but ultimately harmless showman. Remove the darker elements. The Nightmare Island sequence, with its scary displays of wild animals, could be removed. The fire that destroys Dreamland and imprisons the elephants would also need to be cut. Alter the final reunion. The ending of the 2019 film sees the circus troupe freeing Dumbo and his mother, and they are eventually reunited with a herd of elephants in the wild. Make the separation brief. Instead of protracted effort to reunite Dumbo and his mother, their separation could be temporary. This would minimize the grief and suspense surrounding their goal. A happily ever after for the whole circus. An even less emotional ending could see Dumbo and his mother choosing to stay with the circus, which becomes a thriving, ethical operation. Instead of being set free, the elephants become beloved and well cared for members of the troupe, getting their happy ending while remaining with their human friends.